Good morning, welcome to my channel. Namaste. My name is Kelly and I'm here to talk with you today about a little bit about trauma and breathwork and meditation using mantras and mudras to help us to heal from traumas that have been in our world. I've been going through the Trauma Summit, one speaker a day, listening a lot to people who have recovered or are recovering from the traumatic activist work and other types of workers in the world who have been either parallel traumatized by the work they've done or through their childhoods growing up in the Middle East. So many different examples of trauma, and it's from people from all over the world that I think we've all been traumatized to some degree or another in some way, shape, or form, whether we have PTSD or CPTSD, or which would be considered more of a disorder. It doesn't really matter. We've all been traumatized in some way. We can sort of pin it down to a problem, or we can recognize it, become aware, and learn what we can do to release trauma from our body. And I think, as an American, I've been very privileged to be able to live a life that I wasn't born into a tremendous amount of trauma that, I've been experiencing and hearing about from others for many years now, because I worked with trauma, specifically trauma, as an art therapist for 5 years. And it was then that I realized I was incredibly privileged. However, I have also been traumatized myself. So it touches all of us to one degree or another. And the important thing is to focus on becoming more resilient through trauma and learning what we can from it. We would have never asked for what we received. We would have never asked for it in a million years, but we did receive it. And if we can walk in this path, having received it, and become more aware and more compassionate towards others, then it brings us meaning to our worlds. And that's where I want to focus with my work. I'm an art therapist, coach, and yogi, and I'm using these tools as ways to help others emotionally regulate and to find ways to heal from things we have experienced in our lifetimes. So in terms of breath work, it's very simple, maybe not so easy to do, but it's very simple. We simply make an effort to do it, and we show up for ourselves, because self-love is one of the most important things that will ever help us in this life. When we love ourselves enough to show up for ourselves every day for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes is even better. Some people meditate for 2 hours a day. It's the most important thing is that you just show up for yourself and you do this work for a little bit of time. And with consistency, we can get better with just about everything in our life. So when you consistently practice it, it becomes better and better. And it can be something very simple as just showing up at a certain time every day, and breathing for, just breathing on the inhale, and then releasing that breath in a deep exhalation with a mantra, something as simple as there is only this moment, on the inhale, and then release. What a wonderful moment. And so what that is doing for us, when we breathe, we're releasing the trauma from the body. The trauma stays in the cells of the body. There's different ways to release that, and one way is through yoga. We can also stomp our feet. We can also earth, which is taking the shoes off and walking around in a park that, you keep yourself safe with your feet, but walking around with trees all around us can also be very healthy and healing. We can take rattles and shake rattles and percussion, and I think a lot of artists have helped heal themselves with intention through their artwork, or because art also helps trauma, or artists that are musical or artists that are theatrical. We just know we're doing it, and we don't know how we're doing it, but we know that we're doing it. So that's one way to do it. And so getting back to the breath, so it's very simple, but maybe not so easy to show up for yourself. And make sure that you make a daily practice of it. And if you don't, you're not perfect at it, it's fine. Don't beat yourself up. Just come back to it. Meet yourself where you are. And a simple mantra also helps us to plant seeds so that we can begin to think differently. And then those thoughts add up to belief systems, and we're either empowered or we're disempowered with our belief systems. And so then we become more willing and more capable of manifesting in our life what we want, because we're always manifesting no matter what anyway. So why not do it with some awareness? So I hope you liked what I had to say today, and if you do, give it a like and share, and namaste until I see you next time.